Now, today I want to talk about what it's like being an alcoholic or somebody who suffers from alcohol use disorder, and then trying to explain that to someone who is either a non drinker or a non alcoholic. And the vast majority of us are non alcoholics, so it's very difficult to understand the mindset of an alcoholic. But if you take this for an example, so you have your phone, your iPhone, your whatever kind of phone you have, and then somebody takes that away from you for a day or two. How would that make you feel? What would that do to your brain? Because we have such an addiction to these phones. If you couldn't suddenly go and find out what's going on with the political scene today, you couldn't get on social media. You wouldn't be able to contact your loved ones. You wouldn't be able to communicate with anybody. What are you going to do? Go read a book? Do something productive? I mean, not to be funny, but that's very similar to what an alcoholic goes through every single day. That's why it's one day at a time. And you have to get that dopamine fix out of your system. And you have to fill that dopamine fix with other positive things. That's why I always talk about you need to do something creative. You need to find purpose in your life. You need to shore up your relationships, build your life back. You need to create a new identity. All of these types of things, because you have to combat the incredible control of the dopamine fix that's in your brain because of alcohol. And then on top of that, you're not only dealing with not being able to have your phone anymore, but if you try to get your phone back, the people in your life are going to be filled with anger and frustration and animosity because you're trying to get your phone back. And the people in your life are going to be angry about that because they feel that it's a health issue. And you've become so attached to your phone that it's affected your relationships. It's affected your health. It's affecting your future because there's become such an obsession on that phone that you're becoming less and less attached to your own life. And you've also, to some extent, you've broken with reality because the phone is becoming the single most important thing in your life. The phone, more important than your relationships, more important than your job, more important than your children, your spouse, more important than any relationship in your life. And this is what an alcoholic, someone who has alcohol use disorder, has to struggle with every single day. And on that note, what most people don't understand is this is not a moral issue. Consuming alcohol is not a moral issue. It's a physical issue, it's a psychological issue, and it's an emotional issue. It's also an issue that, almost given the right circumstances, anyone could get caught in this web. That's why I've said in early videos, happy, well-adjusted people don't become alcoholics. There's a high probability, if your life is filled with other meaningful things, you're not really going to lose yourself in a bottle or on an iPhone. And again, it's all about balance. You have to have a balanced life. If you're too swayed towards one thing like alcoholism or food or gambling or sex or iPhones, it's all the same metaphor. They all have the same root problem. Okay? So if you have an iPhone and someone takes that away from you, how are you going to feel about that if you can't get that for a day or two or maybe never again? And the thought of never ever being able to use an iPhone is the same emotions that someone who suffers from alcohol use disorder goes through every single day. And this is why we say one day at a time, because all you can control is one day at a time. And on the same note, not to make this video too long, but this stuff gets pushed on us every day. Food, alcohol, iPhones, everything gets pushed on us from 1,000 different angles. Advertisement and people and the relationships that we have, the peer pressure that we get when we're growing up. It's almost like a rite of passage. You've got to drink. What's wrong with you? And this is why people get caught in this web. This is the origins of it. It could be hereditary. It's actually already in our genes for a large part of the population, and it can be family culture. So I hope this, gives you a better understanding of the mindset and what the extraordinary process it is to find long-term sobriety for someone who suffers from alcohol use disorder. And again, if you're ready to work with me, click on the link above in the link tree. The calendar, set up a calendar call. I've helped thousands of alcoholics. It's really a family disease. I think it's important to bring the family and the alcoholic together and really heal everybody at the same time. So please like, share, and comment. We also have a Facebook group called An Alcoholic in the Family. And again, I go live every night, Monday through Friday, around 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 9 o'clock East Coast. And again, thanks for listening.